1 month had passed. Taehyung's striking sky blue hair had faded back to its natural dark brown. He was still working hard at the amusement park. Yn noticed her small baby bump. As she was carrying twins, her bump was growing faster. She had started wearing oversized clothes. Nowadays, she got tired easily, couldn't sleep well at night because of persistent back pain, and her legs ached constantly. Yn scoffed and changed her position in bed. She was trying desperately to sleep, but the back pain wasn't letting her, and to top it off, the lights were on, which wasn't helping either. Yn, yelling slightly, "Could you please turn off the lights? I'm trying to sleep here." She glared at her husband, who was intensely studying his textbook. Taehyung, 10 more minutes please. I have exams tomorrow, and I need to finish this chapter. Yn, 5 minutes. If you don't finish in 5 minutes and turn this damn light off, I will curse you, and you'll forget everything you studied in the exam hall. Taehyung gasps dramatically. Don't say that. Yn, you have 4 minutes 30 seconds. Saying that, she turned around and pulled the blanket over her head. Taehyung pout and close his book. He can't revise anything in 4 minutes. He turned off the lights and laid down, hugging Yn from the back and soon fall asleep. But Yn stayed awake with her back pain. Yn yawned and looked at Annie, who placed a glass of juice in front of her. Yn, I'm sleepy. Can I get a cup of coffee? Annie, no way. Coffee is not healthy for the babies. Yn, 1 cup won't do anything. Annie, you are not getting a single sip. Get it? Yn, you're very strict. She pouted and looked away petulantly. Annie, by the way, Noah is coming today. Yn, Noah? Annie, yeah, my brother. I mentioned him, remember? Yn, oh, yes. He moved to another town after his breakup. Annie, yes. Now he's coming back, and he's ready to move on. Yn, that's great news. Just then, Rex came and sat with them. Rex, what were you talking about, ladies? Annie, about Noah. We need to find a girl for him. If Yn wasn't married, I'd definitely make them date each other. Rex glared sharply at Annie. Her words made Yn visibly uncomfortable. She quickly excused herself and left the table. Rex, you really don't know anything about when and how to speak. Annie, I was just casually saying. Rex, you clearly made her uncomfortable. After the exam, Taehyung walked out from the classroom when someone called him from behind. It was Circe. Circe, how was your exam? Taehyung, it was good, Circe. Actually, I need to ask you a favor. Taehyung, if it's about Jungkook, I'm not helping you. You need to protect yourself from bullies. Circe, no, it's not about him. Actually, it's about the project the teacher gave us. Taehyung, what about it? Circe, we need to submit it next week, but no one is ready to be my partner. It's a big project, and I can't do it alone. Taehyung, so, Circe, will you be my project partner? Taehyung, sure, Circe. Okay, then meet me in the library at lunchtime, she said with a bright smile. Taehyung nodded and walked away. Just then, Jungkook came up with his gang. Jungkook, do the project properly. I need full marks, and don't forget to write my name. Circe, I'm not doing the project for you this time. Jungkook frowned and leaned close to her. Jungkook, what do you mean? Circe, Taehyung is my project partner, so do your project by yourself, she said quickly and ran away before he could react. It took Jungkook a few seconds to process the information. Then, his face hardened in fury. Jungkook, that Taehyung is on my nerves now. During lunchtime, Taehyung and Circe met in a quiet corner of the university library. Their project was to create a comprehensive business proposal for launching a new sustainable tech startup, including market analysis, financial projections, and a detailed operational plan. Taehyung immediately dove into the work. He was focused and systematic, quickly drafting the executive summary and setting up the financial models, his mind sharp from studying last night. As he worked, his intensity was captivating. He had rolled his sleeves up past his elbows to better manage the paperwork, revealing his strong, veiny forearms. Circe sat across from him, supposedly taking notes, but mostly finding herself admiring him. She was struck by his dedication, the way he frowned slightly in concentration, and the sheer effort he put into everything: his appearance, his hard work, and his steady personality. Circe, wow, you're so fast. You must be an expert in finance. Taehyung, just practicing. This is what I need to do when I graduate. We need to define the USP of our service, he said without looking up. Circe continued to watch his hands as he expertly typed figures into the laptop. finding herself falling harder for his quiet competence. The lunch hour ended quickly. Taehyung closed his laptop and gathered his books. Taehyung, okay, I think this is a good stopping point for today. Circe, wait, let's continue it after classes. We need to be ready for next week. Taehyung, I'm sorry, but I have work right after classes. I can't stay on campus. We can meet tomorrow during lunch again. He gave her a quick, polite nod and left the library. Circe sighed, both disappointed and increasingly impressed by his dedication. After his final class, Taehyung pulled out his phone and called YRN, already bracing himself for the usual bad news. Taehyung, should I come to pick you up today, or did you get detention again? He heard her clear giggles from the other side, a sound that always managed to melt his frustration. YRN, no, I didn't get any detention today. You can come and pick me up. Taehyung let out a breath he didn't realize he was holding. He was so done with her frequent detentions, which always left her walking home alone while he was rushing to work. Taehyung, thank goodness. I'm leaving my campus now. Meet me by the east gate, okay? And YN, try to keep that clean streak going. I'm serious about your safety, YN. I promise, Appa Bear, I will be the best student for my babies. See you in 5, she said sweetly. Taehyung smiled slightly, the relief of knowing she was safe making his long day instantly better. Taehyung hurried toward the east gate of YN's college. Just as he reached the entrance, he saw YN walking out, her arms wrapped around a stack of books, her current oversized hoodie concealing her small bump. YN, beaming, there you are. I missed you. Taehyung immediately took the books from her. Taehyung, I missed you too, and thank you for not giving me a heart attack today. No detention means I can actually enjoy our walk. YN, linking her arm through his. I'm trying to be better. I even behaved in the last lecture, though the lecturer's voice was so soothing, I think I almost fell asleep 3 times. They started walking, their pace slow and easy. The late afternoon sun cast long shadows, and the air was cool and crisp. It was one of those perfect moments of quiet connection. Taehyung, you look tired. Is your back bothering you? YN, a little, but it's manageable. I just need a cuddle session with you and a warm blanket. Tell me about your exam. Did you ace it? Taehyung, I think so. It was all about market structures and competition. YN, boring. I'd rather think about baby names again. Taehyung, chuckling, we already have the best names, remember? Twinkle and Sparkle. YN, maybe. But I saw a documentary today about flowers. How about Petal and Bloom? Taehyung, no more name debates. Not when I have to work in an hour. They continued their easy banter, enjoying the simple pleasure of being together after a long day of separation. Taehyung felt a deep sense of peace wash over him. His life was stressful, filled with work and constant worry about money and his studies, but walking beside YRN, listening to her cheerful voice and feeling her presence, made all the difficulties fade into the background. He stopped briefly, turned her toward him, and softly kissed her forehead. Taehyung, I love you, you beautiful, detention-dodging miracle. Now let's hurry home so I can make you a warm bath before I have to put on the bear suit. YRN, I love you too, my brave, hard-working husband, she said, squeezing his arms. They continued their walk, hand in hand, 2 people finding their entire world in a quiet street. The next day at lunchtime, the library was unusually quiet, providing the perfect atmosphere for Taehyung and Circe to dive back into their project. Taehyung was already deep into the market analysis section, his brow furrowed in concentration. He was working hard, his brow furrowed as he typed on his laptop. He had his sleeves rolled up to his elbows, and Circe couldn't help but stare at his veiny arms as his fingers flew across the keyboard. He looked so handsome when he was focused. Circe, Taehyung, look at this. She turned her phone toward him. It wasn't a business graph, it was a beautiful, soft photo of the lake near the college, taken at sunrise. The water looked like pink silk. Taehyung stopped typing. He looked at the photo, and his eyes softened. Taehyung, you took this? It's really pretty. Circe, I did. I noticed you always look at the lake when you walk past. I thought maybe you like scenery. Taehyung smiled, a small, genuine one. For the first time, he stopped acting like a strict student. Taehyung, I do. I used to take a lot of photos before life got busy. I like how quiet the lake is early in the morning. Circe, me too. It's the only place that feels peaceful. Maybe one day you can show me the best spots to take pictures? Taehyung laughed softly. It was a light, easy sound, Taehyung, maybe, but only if we finish this project first. Circe, after graduation, what are you planning to do? Taehyung, I want to start a business, maybe opening a shop. Circe, really? You know my dream is to open a coffee shop. Let's do it together. They spent the rest of the hour talking and laughing about simple things, their favorite colors, music, and how much they both hated the library's no talking rule. They weren't just partners anymore, they were friends. When the bell rang, Taehyung packed his bags with a light heart. Circe, see you tomorrow, friend? Taehyung nodded with a smile and said, Taehyung, see you tomorrow. Circe. He walked away to pick up YN. He felt a little less tired than usual. Having a friend made the long university days feel much shorter. Taehyung stood by the college gate, tapping his foot and checking his watch every 10 seconds. He was already running late for his shift at the amusement park, and his patience was wearing thin. Finally, Yor walked out, looking like a puppy that knew it had done something wrong. He sighed loudly, Taehyung, again, Yor, really? Yor, the professor was talking about economics, and I just had to tell Annie about how much Twinkle and Sparkle make me puke this morning. I didn't think he'd hear me. Taehyung, you're a college student, not a middle schooler. You're going to be a mother soon, but you're getting more detentions than the actual bullies. I was worried sick standing here. Yor, I'm sorry, Tae. I'll be better tomorrow, I promise. Taehyung, you said that yesterday. He gave her a stern look, but seeing her tired face and the way she rubbed her lower back, his heart softened. Taehyung, I have to go to work now, or the manager will kill me. Can you please walk straight home? No side adventures? Yor, yes sir, go work hard, my handsome bear. Taehyung gave her a quick, lingering kiss on the forehead and rushed off toward the bus stop, still shaking his head in disbelief. About 15 minutes into her walk home, Yin's back started to ache. She slowed her pace, humming to herself to keep her spirits up, as she passed the back entrance of Taehyung's university when she saw a familiar figure throwing a heavy gear bag into the trunk of a sports car. It was Jungkook. He looked tired, his hair damp from sweat after practice, and his usual arrogant smirk was replaced by a look of deep thought. Yor, hey, good practice today. Jungkook flinched, nearly dropping his water bottle. He turned around and saw Yor smiling at him, the same girl who had stood up to his father. He immediately tried to fix his posture, putting on his cool guy mask. Jungkook, what are you doing here so late? Following me, he said arrogantly, making Yor laugh. Yor, in your dreams, I just finished detention. Jungkook, detention? For what? Stealing someone's lunch. Yn, for talking. My husband says I talk too much. Jungkook went quiet for a second at the mention of her husband. He had no idea that she's married, but he didn't show any emotion. Instead, he leaned against his car, looking at her oversized hoodie. Jungkook, you're weird. Most people run away when they see me. You just smile. Yn, well, you're not that scary once someone knows you're just a boy who's afraid of his dad. Jungkook, shut up. You don't know anything, he said, scowling, though his ears turned red. Yor, maybe, but I know you should probably put a sweater on. You're sweaty and the wind is cold. You'll get sick, and then who will hit all those home runs? Jungkook opened his mouth to say something mean, but the words wouldn't come out. He just looked at her, feeling a strange sense of comfort he hadn't felt in a long time. Jungkook, whatever, just get home. It's getting dark. Yn, good night, Jungkook. She waved at him and walked away, her steps a bit lighter. Jungkook watched her go until she turned the corner. Later that night, Yn was sitting on the bed finishing her night routine, carefully applying lotion to her skin. Taehyung was sitting right next to her, leaning against the headboard with his phone in his hand. Suddenly, his phone vibrated with a text. It was from Circe. She had sent him a high-quality photo of a hidden alleyway lit by fairy lights, a beautiful, quiet spot she had found on her way home. Circe text, found this place tonight, thought the lighting was perfect for our coffee shop theme. What do you think, partner? Taehyung smiled as he looked at the photo. He found himself impressed by her eye for detail. He quickly typed back, and for the next few minutes, they went back and forth, talking about photography and art. Yn, who was about to close her lotion bottle, noticed the soft, boxy smile on Taehyung's face. He seemed completely absorbed in the conversation. She felt a small tug of curiosity and a tiny bit of a pout forming on her lips. She leaned over to peek at the screen, but he was typing too fast. She frowned. Yn, why are you smiling like that at your phone? Taehyung, oh, nothing. I'm just talking with a friend from the project, he said looking up, his smile still there. Yn didn't say anything for a second. She didn't like how the project was stealing his attention during their limited time together. She crawled closer to him and tapped his arm. Yn, keep that phone aside. I want cuddles. She looked at him with a deep pout, her eyes wide and pleading. Taehyung realized he had been a bit too distracted. He chuckled softly, seeing how adorable she looked when she was being clingy. Taehyung, okay, no more phone. He immediately placed the phone face down on the nightstand, silencing the notifications. He laid down on the bed and opened his arms wide. Yn didn't hesitate. She snuggled right into his chest, resting her head in the crook of his neck. He pulled the blanket over both of them, his large hand resting protectively over her small bump. Taehyung, better. Yn, much better. She mumbled against his chest. They stayed like that, drifting into a peaceful sleep, while the phone on the nightstand stayed dark and forgotten. The next morning, the university courtyard was bustling, but Yn was in her own world, trying to balance a tray of drinks. As she turned a corner, she accidentally bumped into someone. A tall, striking man caught her arm to steady her. He had bright blue eyes and blonde hair that shimmered in the sun. He looked exactly like a male version of Annie. Yn, oh, I'm so sorry. I wasn't looking where I was going. The man didn't let go of her arm immediately. He stared at her, completely captivated by her soft features and kind smile. For Noah, it was instant. He fell for her at first sight. Noah, it's okay. I should have been watching out for someone as beautiful as you. Just then, Annie and Rex ran over. Annie, Noah, you're here. I see you've already met Yn. Yn smiled politely, feeling a bit shy under Noah's intense gaze. They talked for a few minutes, but thenYn's phone buzzed. Seeing Taehyung's name, her face lit up. Yn, excuse me, it's important. I need to take this. She walked a few paces away, her voice turning sweet and bubbly as she greeted Taehyung. Noah watched her go, his eyes never leaving her. Noah, so, she's the girl you were talking about. I think I really like her. Annie? Annie laughed awkwardly, rubbing the back of her neck. Annie, yeah, I told you about her when we first met, but I forgot to tell you something important. Noah, frowning, what is it? Annie, she's actually married, and she's pregnant with twins. Noah stood frozen for a few seconds, processing the news. Then, a strange, stubborn look crossed his face. Noah, it's okay. I'm sure her husband doesn't take care of her the way she deserves. I'll be the one to take care of her and her babies. Rex, are you out of your mind? Her husband is 10 times the man you are. I can't even compare the two of you. Annie and Noah, he's very handsome. They look perfect together. Most importantly, they love each other so much it's almost annoying. Noah, then why did you tell me you found the perfect girl for me? Annie, I said that before I knew she was married. You didn't take it seriously then, so I stopped mentioning her. Noah, well, I'm taking it seriously now. I like her, and I want only her. Rex grew furious. He stepped into Noah's space, and the two began to argue loudly. Annie tried to step between them, pleading for them to stop, but Rex turned his anger toward her. Rex, stop it, Annie. How long are you going to support your toxic brother? He's being delusional and disrespectful. Annie looked down, her eyes filling with tears. She backed away, knowing Rex was right. Noah was her only family, and she always supported him, hoping he'd change, but his obsession was crossing a line. Just then, Yn walked back, tucking her phone into her pocket with a happy glow on her face. The three of them stopped instantly. Rex took a deep breath. Noah forced a smile, and Annie wiped her eyes quickly. They stood there, pretending like nothing had happened, while Yn looked between them, sensing the heavy tension but choosing not to ask. The friendship between Taehyung and Circe grew deeper with every passing day. To Circe, Taehyung was a brilliant, mysterious, and hardworking student who seemed to carry the weight of the world on his shoulders. She didn't know about Yn, the twins, or his grueling job in the bear suit. She just knew she felt a connection to him. They were sitting in their usual corner of the library. The project was nearly finished, but they found themselves lingering just to talk. Circe noticed Taehyung doodling in the margin of his notebook a very detailed sketch of a small, cozy house with a large garden. Circe, you're really good at that. Is that part of the coffee shop design? Taehyung, no, just a personal dream, I guess. A place where it's always quiet, he said quickly, closing the book, looking slightly shy. Circe, I get that. You always seem so hurried, like you're constantly racing against a clock. What do you do after classes that makes you rush away so fast? Taehyung hesitated. He liked Circe, but he wasn't ready to explain his complicated life. He didn't want her to look at him with pity, the way some people looked at young parents or workers and mascots. Taehyung, I just have a lot of responsibilities at home. My family, they depend on me. Circe nodded, misinterpreting his words. She thought he meant his parents or siblings. Circe, that's really noble of you. Taehyung, most guys our age are just thinking about the next party or what Jungkook is doing. You're different, you're grounded. Taehyung smiled, a genuine, relaxed look that made Circe's heart skip a beat. Taehyung, and you're the only person here who doesn't talk about business 24/7. It's nice to have a partner who sees the world in colors instead of just numbers. Circe reached over and playfully nudged his arm. Circe, well, don't tell the professor that, or he'll fail us for being too artistic for a business degree. Taehyung chuckled, leaning back in his chair. For that 1 hour, he wasn't the tired worker or the worried husband, he was just a college student enjoying the company of a friend. Circe watched him, her admiration growing. She felt like she was slowly peeling back the layers of a very special person. She had no idea that while she was dreaming of a future with him, Taehyung was only thinking about finishing the project so he could get home to the wife and babies who were his entire world. After classes, the campus was bathed in the warm glow of the setting sun. Taehyung and Yn walked home hand in hand, their fingers intertwined. Even though his hand was callous from work and hers felt soft and delicate, they fit together perfectly. As they strolled, Yn looked up at him, her eyes shining with excitement. Tae, I forgot to tell you, Anne's brother Noah moved back to town. She invited both of us to have lunch with them tomorrow since it's the weekend. Taehyung slowed his pace, a small frown forming. Between his morning shifts and his classes, his weekends were usually for catching up on sleep or extra study hours. Taehyung, a lunch invitation? Yn, you know I'm usually exhausted on Saturdays, and I don't even know this Noah guy. Taehyung sighed, a soft chuckle escaping his lips. He reached out and tucked a stray hair behind her ear. Taehyung, okay, don't look at me like that, we'll go, but only for a couple of hours, alright. Yn let out a squeal of delight and jumped into his arms, hugging him tightly. Yn, yay, you're the best husband ever. I'll text Annie right now. She skipped ahead a little, pulling out her phone with a bright smile. Taehyung watched her, his heart full of love. He was happy because she was happy. However, Yn was completely unaware of the reality. She didn't know that Noah wasn't just Annie's brother, he was a man obsessed. Noah had already planned the entire lunch to be a trap. He wanted to show Yn that her husband was beneath her, planning to use his wealth and status to humiliate Taehyung right in front of her. Taehyung walked behind her, his protective instincts humming, though he couldn't quite put his finger on why he felt so uneasy about this friendly lunch. That evening, the neon lights of the theme park flickered to life. Circe happened to be passing by on her way to a local gallery when a familiar figure caught her eye. Near the entrance, she saw a boy in a worn-out uniform, holding a heavy bear mask under his arm. It was Taehyung. He was standing with his head bowed as the manager stood over him, red-faced and screaming. The manager was poking Taehyung's chest, humiliating him in front of several passing tourists for a minor mistake. Circe froze, her heart aching. She saw the exhaustion in Taehyung's eyes and the way he tightly clenched his jaw to keep from talking back. This was the busy family responsibility he had mentioned. She felt a wave of pity and respect wash over her. She didn't know he was struggling this much. Not wanting to embarrass him by letting him know she saw him like this, she quietly turned and left. Later that night, the apartment was quiet and cozy. Taehyung was lying in bed, his arms wrapped tightly around Yn. They were in the middle of a peaceful cuddle, the stress of the manager's yelling finally fading from his mind when his phone buzzed on the nightstand. It was Circe. Taehyung frowned and answered. Taehyung, low voice hello. Circe, Taehyung, I'm sorry for calling so late, but listen, I need you to meet me tomorrow morning at sharp 9:00 a.m. at the park by the lake. It's really important. Please don't be late. Taehyung looked down at Yn, who was watching him with curious eyes. Taehyung, 9:00 a.m. Tomorrow is Saturday. I was supposed to. Circe, please Tae, trust me, it's about our future. Taehyung, sighing okay, I'll be there. He hung up the phone and feltYn's small hand on his chest. She looked a little sad, her bottom lip tucked in. YN, who was that? Was it the girl from the project again? Taehyung, yeah, she said it's important. I have to meet her for a bit tomorrow morning. YN, pouting, but it's the weekend, Tae. I wanted to spend the whole day with you before we go to Annie's place for lunch. Don't forget the invitation. Taehyung leaned down and kissed her nose, his eyes softening. Taehyung, I know, baby. I haven't forgotten. I'll just see what she needs and come straight back. I promise I'll be home in time to get ready for the lunch. YN snuggled back into his embrace. Though she felt a tiny spark of jealousy, she trusted Taehyung, but she didn't like how this project partner was taking away his few precious hours of rest.